Well, hello there, Spider Dash here. Recently I watched Peacemaker and I have to say that it is awesome. My second favorite superhero TV show ever, next to Daredevil. It has great characters, a good story, and a fair share of mysteries. That's why today I want to bring you the Peacemaker Iceberg. I made this iceberg and I think that it turned out pretty well, so if you want to see it, I'll leave a link in the description. And only 17% of you guys are subscribed. So, if you're enjoying my content, give me a like, click the subscribe button, and leave in the comments your favorite character from the Peacemaker TV show. Thank you so much for watching, and with that out of the way, let's begin! Tier 1 Clear Skies. Justice League cameo. In the final episode, we can see a cameo of the Justice League, topic that we'll be touching throughout the iceberg. Jetpack. In the first episode, we can see Peacemaker requesting a jetpack.
Can I get a jetpack? No.
This is a reference to the fact that in the comics, Peacemaker uses a jetpack. Season 2. Peacemaker has been renewed for a second season, which is a good thing because of how good the first season is. Deadpool. A lot of people say that Vigilante acts like Deadpool, which might be wrong, but there is no denial that it seems that, at least in the show, Vigilante feels inspired in Deadpool. In the comics, Vigilante is a much more serious character. Evergreen City. In the show, we can see that Peacemaker lives in a place named Evergreen City, which is a place that only exists in the comics, and it is home of Green Lantern. Post-credit scenes. At the end of every episode, there is a post-credit scene that James Gunn left as a surprise for people that stayed until the end. Tier 2, the tip of the iceberg. Batmite. In the second episode, we can hear Economos mentioning Batmite.
I'd rather be with fucking Batmite than you.
Which begs the question of how do they know Batmite when he only exists in Batman's imagination, and other times he's an interdimensional being. Something that is meant to be taken as a joke, I guess. Bloodsport wound. In the Suicide Squad, we can see that Bloodsport shoots Peacemaker. We can see the wound that the bullet left many times throughout the show. This shows how much James Gunn cares about the little details.
Fortnite.
John Cena posted this picture on his Instagram, which is a picture of Fortnite, which might mean that a skin of Peacemaker is coming to Fortnite sometime soon. Butterflies. The butterflies don't exist in the comics, and they were created exclusively for the show. Peacemaker's brother doesn't exist in the comics. Another thing that is original to the series is Peacemaker's brother. He was created exclusively for the show, and he doesn't exist in the comics. Riverdale. In the episode 5, Peacemaker mentions Riverdale.
Fucking cunts from Riverdale!
Having in mind that both Peacemaker and Riverdale are owned by Warner, that might mean that Peacemaker and Riverdale are in the same universe. Tier 3 Below the Surface. Secret Invasion. The idea of the butterflies and some details of the plot might be inspired on the Marvel comic Secret Invasion, a comic where the Skrulls take the identity of different Marvel heroes. The Flash. In the episode 6, Peacemaker mentions that he met the Flash and that he is a D-bag. This might mean that Peacemaker met the Flash around the events of the first Suicide Squad movie. Bane. Some news media said that Bane will appear in Peacemaker Season 2, but James Gunn said that those rumors were not true, but that now he is open to the possibility of having Bane in the second season. Ultra Bunny. In the Suicide Squad, we can see Rick Flag wearing this shirt. It has a character named Ultra Bunny. We can see this same character throughout Peacemaker's show, multiple times. This character symbolizes the phrase, "Obstacles are opportunities," a mantra that has helped James Gunn throughout his life. Eagly is not real. Obviously, Eagly is not real, but if you're like me, you maybe thought that Eagly was an animatronic or at least a puppet or something. But no, Eagly is 100% CGI. They tried to have an eagle on set, but it was really difficult to have the eagle around, so they let the eagle free. Super! A lot of people say that Peacemaker shares a lot of similarities with Super, one of the first movies that James Gunn directed. Most of them are things that are a staple of James Gunn's style, like having a soundtrack filled with classic music and being more grounded than other superhero movies. 1138. The house number of Peacemaker's home is 1138, which is a reference to George Lucas' film THX 1138. Also, we can see references to this in other projects. Atomic Age. When Peacemaker is about to fight Judo Master for the second time, we can see a truck that says Atomic Age. This might be a reference of the atomic age in the comics, where after the detonation of the first nuclear bomb, a lot of heroes obtain their powers this way, like the Fantastic Four and the Incredible Hulk. Dollman. In the second episode, we can hear Peacemaker mentioning Dollman.
Hey, Dollman? You ever meet him?
Dollman?
Dollman was the first superhero ever to be able to turn small on command. Tier 4. The bottom of the iceberg. Leora. Adebayo's last name is Leora. James Gunn named her that way because that's his mother's name, and James Gunn was really happy to see that his mother now has an emoji. Gotham City. In the show, it's mentioned that Adebayo is from Gotham City, which is a pretty cool detail. LGBT representation. In the show, it's mentioned multiple times that Peacemaker had sex with men, which means that he's bisexual. This idea was suggested by John Cena. It is really cool that now LGBT people have a really badass superhero to identify themselves with. Matter Eater Lad. In the fourth episode, Peacemaker mentions Matter Eater Lad.
Ever since I had a team up with Matter Eater Lad, my sense of what's normal is a little fucked up.
There are rumors that Warner is interested in making either a cartoon or a show about Matter Eater Lad. Kite Man. In Peacemaker, we have two references to Kite Man. One is in the episode 5, another in the episode 6. Charlton Comics. Evergreen City is located in Charlton County. This is a reference to Charlton Comics. Charlton Comics created Peacemaker, and later it will be bought by DC Comics. Perry the Platypus. If you're like me, you maybe thought that the sounds that Eagly makes came from an actual eagle, but no, they come from a voice actor, D. Bradley Baker, the same voice actor that makes the sounds of Perry the Platypus. Another character that you might be familiar with. Tier 5. Shallow Waters. The Dark Knight logo. The diary that Adebayo places in Peacemaker's home has the Wayne Industries logo on it, but it isn't the Wayne Enterprises logo from the DCU. It is the logo from the Dark Knight trilogy. Batman killing rule inconsistency. In the episode 4, Peacemaker and an old man have an argument over Batman being a coward because he doesn't kill his criminals. But we know that at least in the DCU, Batman kills his criminals. As far as we know, villains like the Riddler or Two-Face might be dead. So this is pretty much an inconsistency, or even a discrepancy if you will. Charlie the Gorilla. In the episode 5, we can see the Peacemaker squad fighting a gorilla. That is revealed that his name is Charlie. This is a reference to DC's super obscure character Charlie the Gorilla. Eclipso. In one scene of the first episode, we can see a reference to another super obscure DC villain. That is the villain named Eclipso. There are rumors that we could see him in Peacemaker Season 2. Home Sweet Home. At the end of the episode 6, Peacemaker plays a song named Home Sweet Home. The thing is that John Cena really knows how to play the piano, and this is the same song that plays before Peacemaker's brother dies. The US agent is a Peacemaker ripoff. There are rumors that the US agent is a copy of Peacemaker. Peacemaker was created first, and both characters are extremely patriotic. There is a really high chance that this is true, but it comes to no surprise, because both Marvel and DC have done this many times. Economos is King Shark. The same actor that plays Economos in Peacemaker, Steve Agee, makes the motion capture of King Shark in the Suicide Squad. Hamburglar. In one scene of episode 7, we can see the detective Larry thinking that Captain Locke is describing the McDonald's character Hamburglar, but he's really describing another obscure DC character, the Crimson Avenger. Tier 6. Dark Waters. Indiana Jones. The scene where Peacemaker is running from his father's gang is a reference to Indiana Jones and the Riders of the Lost Ark. This was confirmed by James Gunn himself. White Hood Walker. The members of the White Dragon gang have really demeaning names on the script, like Racist Dog and White Hood Walker. Peacemaker's father is also a ghost in the comics. In the end of the show, we can see that Peacemaker's father appears to him as a ghost. This might be a reference to the fact that in the comics, Peacemaker's father is a ghost. He killed himself in front of Peacemaker when Peacemaker was only a kid, and his ghost continued to torture Peacemaker in the afterlife. Well, that is because Peacemaker believes that the souls of the people that he killed are inside his helmet. Rocket Raccoon. In the episode 7, we can see Peacemaker tie his helmet to a raccoon. This might be just a coincidence, but it is really likely that this is a reference to Rocket Raccoon. Not only because it is a raccoon, but because after directing Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn is really fond of raccoons. Peacemaker kills Vigilante. In the comics, Peacemaker kills Vigilante, although it's worth mentioning that this wasn't Adrian Chase, it was another person using the identity of Vigilante. I think that it's really unlikely that we'll see something like this in the show. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The set where the final battle occurs and where the Justice League cameo was filmed is the same set that James Gunn will use in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Also, it is worth mentioning that the actor that plays Moon in this show, Chakuri Iwuji, will have an important role in the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Tier 7. The Abyss. Peacemaker dies in the Suicide Squad. Originally, Peacemaker was going to die in the Suicide Squad, but because of the lockdown during the pandemic, James Gunn was bored and decided to write the 8 episodes of the show. So, just because of that, Peacemaker was created. Vigilante kills himself. In the comics, Adrian Chase kills himself, thing that is unlikely to happen in the show, but because of the nature of the character, I don't see it entirely impossible. Arrowverse Adrian Chase. In the CW's Arrow show, Adrian Chase appears as a villain, but not as Vigilante. He takes the identity of Prometheus. Boba Fett. In the DC comic Kingdom Come, Peacemaker makes a small apparition, but he's wearing a suit that is an obvious reference to the Star Wars character Boba Fett. James Gunn engaged to Peacemaker. James Gunn and Jennifer Holland, the actress that plays Harcourt in the show, are engaged. Several sites posted this news, but in the preview, because of the crop, it appears as James Gunn engaged to Peacemaker. The Eagly apparition. Batman and Cyborg scrapped cameos. Batman and Cyborg were supposed to appear in the final episode, along with the Justice League. We even have pictures of the Batman double, but those cameos were scrapped. James Gunn says that Warner had their reasons. Every episode of Peacemaker is personalized.
It's me, Peacemaker!
Well, you stayed until the end, and wait, before you leave, I want to give a shout out to some of you. A shout out to the Rookie 360, Terran Toddler Twins, Tom Cruise, Tim Drake, AJB, Cashman Jedi, and last but not least, Megatronus Primal. If you want to get a shout out in my next video, give me a like, click the subscribe button, and leave "Do you really wanna taste it?" in the comment section. And without anything else to say, I'll see you the next time.